Boom. Come on, go live, you slag.
No.
Okay. Just by the magic of nice little songs. Ray,
What happened with Paul?
Written yourself?
He stopped on the weirdest ever.
Paul is a lizard person right now. He's
Yeah.
in mid.
Yeah, he did. He had
I
an
knew.
issue with it a moment ago and he had to come back in.
This is why he's in the basement.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many
And
disappointing.
he's gone.
He's got clothes on as well.
Disappeared. He's a small lizard sitting on his chair now.
His hardcore faithful aren't going to be pleased that he was wearing. Oh, there he comes. There you go. Oh, he's full.
What's up, guys?
He's
I'm
back.
sorry, my internet struggles down here. I had to get rid of my cell phone.
No worries, dude. You might have a few freeze ups, but it's nothing we can't handle. We can handle it, son. Let's have a look. We'll get this show officially on the road in a moment. Just took me a moment to get used to Ray's shirt. I had to let it wash over me, but now it's good, Ray. And you look great.
Deal with it.
Try my best. So now then, let's get this going. I need you back in your role as technical director. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Fix. Show number, what is it? 86.
86.
86, mother fluffers. And as always, for those of you who have been living under a rock, this show is brought to you by
Winter tea.
Western Survivor, the greatest beef jerky. I'm steaming up. My glasses are steaming up. Steaming up, they are. That's because it's nothing to do with the heat in this room or the heat of my fine fat self. It's to do with the heat coming off Western Survivor's beef jerky. I can't see the screen right now. I'm in a fog, a beef jerky fog of heat created by the greatest beef jerky of all time, Western Survivor.
I can taste that sweet BBQ now.
Good gear, isn't it?
I saw they have a store in a mall somewhere in Ontario. I saw.
They've got he's branching out, his old Adam.
Yeah.
He's not playing games. I love Adam Vandal. For anybody who doesn't know Adam Vandal of Western Survivor, he is a dude. He had a match actually not long ago in Canada, and he sent me the footage from the match.
It was good.
It was a freaking screamer, wasn't it? It was ace. How nobody's arm broke's quite amazing. Gotta be honest. I mean, yeah, was on the ragged edge of somebody getting their arm broke, but amazingly they didn't. And it's a good thing. We saw enough of that at Larry Wheels' gig the other day. But ladies and gentlemen, I've got a few stories to update you on, lads, this last week, because a number of things happened. Number one, I should have been on a couple of times this week. I was going to do a solo thing. I was also going to get on there with Maynard, the Thing, Jez, and Uncle John. Nearly died, ladies and gentlemen. Had a terrible virus, somewhere between Ebola and AIDS, I think. It was pretty bad. A lesser man may have died. I did. Fortunately, I was reborn, Ray. Unfortunately, in the same fat old
same body.
Yeah. I was looking to be reborn a different body, mate. I was thinking I'd come out all buff and lacking knee tits, but nope.
Did you run into the church and say, "Why do you hate me?"
Yeah, what's going on?
What did they do to you?
But no, it was a bad deal, mate. And we also should have had LEVAN SAGINASHVILI on. So I was a little bit upset. And then we nearly got LEVAN SAGINASHVILI on tonight's show. He wanted to start earlier at 8 o'clock, but I only got the message from him at about 7:30. So couldn't obviously change the stream. So I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but LEVAN is coming on probably next week. We're going to work the diaries and sort something out. But yeah, I do apologize for that. I was in had a lot of distractions, family stuff, and also rough as hell through the week. So guys, how's everybody doing?
Doing great.
I can say of the four of us, Paul looks like he's had a better week. Still looking buff there, Paul. Smiling, never stopped.
Trying to. It's bulking season. I'm a little fluffy.
Jesus Christ, mate. I wish I was as fluffy. You don't look like you're carrying much fluff there, son.
I won. What did I want?
Yeah, so what are you weighing right now?
Probably like 222.
Okay, so a little bit bigger, but yeah, you what's your sort of post Christmas Day weight? What's your max ever weight on Boxing Day?
Oh, max ever? I mean, that was against John. That was like I got up to almost 232 2 or 3.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the biggest I've been since college. So
You still have abs?
huh?
Did you
Yeah, I mean some semblance of them.
Jesus Christ. I haven't
Just a
seen
little layer of fat on them.
Yeah. What about you, Ray? How long is it since the forest shot?
It's been
a while.
It's been a long winter.
You still got abs now, though?
No.
No, I haven't.
Maybe one.
Don't worry. It's all right, mate.
Abs don't win arm wrestling matches.
That's true.
They don't. And you've still got cats, and cats love you. And that's more important. They do love you. So
I want to be called Pussy Daddy.
yeah, don't we all, son? Don't we all? That's been, yeah. I could have been Pussy Daddy. Unfortunately, I was born ugly and with a micro penis. But other than that, I was in that line, so I was right there, and it went through like a trying. Let me tell you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, anyway, we should really knock over a couple of super chats real quick. Matt, tickle my limits, LARRATT in the mother fluffing house. Hey, boys, hope you're all great. What a time to be alive. Sounds like Pussy Daddy. He's got it, son. Don't worry. It's time to climb Everest. Also want to shout out Uncle John for the great late night shows. Jesus Christ, John, you started a fans only page. What is it?
Well, hey, we're on our way. We're on our way.
Lovely
We've been
day.
having some good late night stuff. I'll tell you what.
Well, it's all been happening. What a week. What a week this week's been. I mean, I catch some kind of killer virus and arm wrestling goes bananas. We only had a couple of days to get over the whole John Brezink Devon LARRATT match. And all of a sudden, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, an even bigger announcement. So King of the Table, we are going to get to. But that's not all. We've had an incredible, I mean, Schoolboy Evan Burgoyne. Massive announcement for every beer fan walking the face of earth. Is that a left-hander match or a right-hand match, John? You probably know.
I feel like it's a right-handed match.
Right-handed match, okay.
Yeah, which I think Evan has a much better chance left-handed, but I'm also pretty sure I understand why it's right-handed.
And come on.
Because of the match afterwards. Who is Schoolboy just slapped the piss out of?
Well, I to be honest, I would have been genuinely interested in that match a lot more had it been left-handed.
Yeah.
Really. I think because, I don't know, I don't want to do Evan down, but I think his left is higher level than his right by considerable margin.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's healthier too. I think he can do more things with it. But I mean, his right hand isn't bad. Yeah. Ray, calm down, Ray. I know it's not horrible. His right hand is not horrible. But I think Schoolboy would be the favorite. And let's be honest, Schoolboy doesn't speak English very well, so half of Evan's game is gone out the window. Schoolboy is immune to the trickeration of Evan Burgoyne. It's going to be could be a tough day for my boy Evan.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Will,
do you guys think Schoolboy knows whoever it is?
See, you know Alex pretty well, don't you, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of interactions with. I mean, obviously his older brother and I are pretty good friends.
Does he speak, does he understand what you say? You know, does Schoolboy understand what you're saying? Does he?
He definitely understands. He's not like fluent, but yeah, he can understand what's going on. He can interact. When I first met him when he was 16, he was he wasn't understanding anything. He needed a translator, but I think he's getting better.
But does he understand Burgoyne?
Probably not, because I don't understand him.
So now we've got Evans got a pretty, not only is it on the right hand, so you know his opportunity to win probably drops significantly, but also he's got to take lessons in Russian and abusive Russian. I don't
know what's really transpired with Schoolboy, you know, as it compares right to left, but his left to me was always the more formidable of the two.
Yeah.
And I know Evan's left hand dominant too, but I don't know if there's that big of a difference margin wise. I don't know. Maybe he got stronger right arm since the last time I seen him, but his left was always dominant.
Yeah, it's a shame that isn't left-handed. Is it too late to change? It's Engin's gig, isn't it? Engin could change that. Come on, Engin. Yeah. Put it on the left arm, son. Yeah. Get it done. Do it. Let's go. So yeah, Schoolboy and Burgoyne, keep your eyes on that. These are all coming up just after Christmas. We also had an incredible week on Voice of Arm Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, because they broke new ground. Yes, that's right. You can go over now to Voice of Arm Wrestling. Get over there and subscribe right now, mother fluffers, if you're not already. Because Rolly Ray will show you how to beat the King's move.
Nice.
Yeah, we did the video after you asked, do you have video on how to beat Kingsborough? So we went in extensively, and it's one of the videos with the highest watch time. Yes.
Absolutely amazing. So
with 30,000 views, it has like 7 minutes average. So
I'll put it in the description after the show, mate.
Yeah.
So that people can go over and check it out. You can get your ass on there and check out how to become a Latvian Anthony Dall'Antonio and get everybody's ass kicked. Because Anthony did really well against Crazy George a couple of times, didn't he, at the Ghoul Classic?
Mm-hmm.
I think like 8 or something, Alan Fisher told me, so, but most of the times he just caught him before allowing him to slip, so it's a tricky move.
Tricky move. If you are a proficient King's mover, you automatically move to a 9 on the
Strong Bastard, Tricky Bastard scale.
But for most of you guys out there, it's even easier. All you have to do is go online and type your fingers like this on your favorite arm wrestling page, and then everyone will argue with you about the King's move, and you too can feel like a winner.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Hey, do that again, Ray. You put a bit of timber on there, son. Oh no, it was the lighting. You're still a normal human. Yeah. For a minute there, I thought, fuck. No, it's pretty impressive though, mate. What are you weighing right now?
87.
You actually look bigger. I was going to say you look bigger than that. I had you over 90 in my head.
Oh, no. Never over 90.
So no problem making weight for Ironhouse.
Do I have to make a weight for something?
Yeah. I appreciate that after Christmas, it's a very difficult time.
You make the weight.
Fuck you. And the camel you rode in on, Ray. I don't make weights.
Make them.
Yeah. I make weight. I can make weight. You can give me a target weight to work towards. Like, can you be 500 pounds in a month? And I will definitely get, particularly over Christmas, I might be far off. You know what I mean? If we really go for it. I think I do actually hold the world record in. You won't have after 8 minutes though in America, will you? You won't have. We have these things called after 8 minutes, right? And they're like a premium mint, motherfucker. You know
my favorites.
Oh.
People don't like peppermint and chocolate. I love it.
Is that what it is? Chocolate and peppermint, like Andy's mint?
Yeah. They're in a little bag. I mean, we're talking a premium mint. You know what I mean?
But garbage, literal garbage compared to Andy's.
Yeah. Is it?
Andy's are 100 times better.
All we got is Andy's. I think that's what I'm thinking about.
It might be the same stuff, dude. It might be the same. Let me just ask a question, which is going to it's going to bring us back to reality. So picture yourself. Come on a journey with me. Christmas Day. Okay. You're around at somebody's house and you've eaten yourself within an inch of your very life. You've eaten yourself like you've never eaten before. Oh, yes. It's Christmas Day, motherfuckers. So you sit down and there's nothing on TV, but you can't move. And you think like, I'm good till August. I don't need to eat again. Like a crocodile when they eat some shit, they can eat like a cow and then go to the bottom of just sink to the bottom of a lake and lie there for 2 fucking years. Don't need to eat again. You feel like that. And then amazingly, inexplicably, some cruel bastard brings over a box of after 8 minutes and sticks them at the side of you. And within 20, 30 seconds, you don't know why, but you've had like 12. The wrappers are everywhere. And you don't care. Anything else you'd throw up, but not after 8 minutes. Somehow you can eat after 8 minutes. There's only two foodstuffs on earth you can do that with. Maybe 3, all right? But number 1, ice cream. Try this shit. If you, as a professional eater, doesn't matter. Yeah. However full you are. Somebody brings out ice cream. It's like, I can't. No, seriously. I can't eat another fucking thing. I'm going to die. And they go, what about this ice cream? You go, okay.
I'll risk it.
I can do that. And
Yeah.
you can do like 3 scoops of ice cream. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
After 8 minutes, same thing. Some reason you can just do that. Christmas Day, bang, flying in. Try that this year. If Andy's is the same thing, that's going to show you. You'll know. You'll be like, yep, this is what they got in England. This is the one. Try that out. So anyway, we should really talk about some arm wrestling. So
why?
Yeah, no, that's important stuff, wasn't it?
We were talking about ice cream. Let's not change the subject.
So, did anybody watch the match between Jordan Sonev and Sergey?
Yeah. Sergey Bogoslov, Jordan Sonev.
Mate, I mean, for those of you who don't know Sergey, he's a very, very powerful, sort of like he's more of a press come hook. He's super tight with the shoulder.
Yeah, super supinated, but good hand also.
Very committed. Really, when he goes in, he goes deep. Like he really, really drives the structure into the match. And to be fair, the opening round, he initiated so hard and went. He got the pin. Incredible match. I'm not going to tell you the outcome of the match, but go get your ass, check that out. Because I'll tell you what, that's a screamer. 5-rounder. I knew it was going to be a good match because they had a British telephone box on stage. Don't know why they had a British telephone box on stage, but they did. It was there, phone box in the corner. No apparent reason. And I think it took place in Moscow. Quite strange. But yeah, go check that out. Amazing match. Absolute quality matchup. Another massive announcement. All 3 dates King of the Table come out this week. Or I shouldn't say all 3 dates. We know 1 date specifically for the big match, which we'll come to. Unless you've been living under a rock, you already know. We also know that end of March, early April is King of the Table 3. And we know that the headliner there is going to be Sarah Bachman, Sarah Oliver, and Gabby Vasconcelos, which Gabby Vasconcelos is, I think, 2-1 up in that series. I think the first time they met, it was Sarah in Arm Wars. I'm just trying to, excuse me, they've met more than that. They also met in Brazil, and Gabby, 3-1 up, I think, Gabby now. But the last time they met, interestingly, was the WAL, where Gabby looked incredibly dominant, but Sarah suffered a very serious injury in the opening match, the opening round. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh,
really am.
Can't wait.
Very necessary, I think.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to check with you guys in case I'd sort of missed some activity from Sarah. Has she been really active in the States?
As far as competition?
Yeah, or just pulling a lot. Have you seen her about a lot?
She's pulled some locals, I believe, in the past 6 months or so. I see a lot of posts where she's at practice. So I know she's still active in the arm wrestling scene for sure. Yeah. I look at Top Roll King and everything, and Artem. He's with her a lot. I think she's on a weekly practice schedule for sure.
But this is a lady. For those of you who don't know her, Sarah is one of the chosen few.
Who doesn't know?
Yeah, I think most people who are in the sport do. For any of the casuals or the new people that have come into the sport,
they know too.
Go and actually, they probably do. They probably, we'll leave it, but they probably do. So, Sarah, when she's on fire, when she's on her best game, is extremely focused, as professional as it gets in the game. She's one of those like obsessive compulsive type characters. And when she commits to it, she goes all in 100%. Every waking hour, she's thinking about it, doing it. And she is an extremely impressive. I was going to say where I'd rank her in the overall female arm wrestlers of all time. She's certainly in my opinion, in the top 10 of all time in the ladies division. She's an absolute animal. Many, many times we've seen her beating men up to probably 75, 80 kilos at a pretty decent level. So super, super strong. The lady she's facing is arguably the very best in the world right now. Gabby Vasconcelos, with the possible exception of Egler, I think is probably the lady you'd have to give that distinction. Yeah. I don't think now that Irina Makieva's not competing, I think that's probably between those two girls. And Gabby seems to be pretty beyond contestation at European
Barbora from
World
Slovakia.
Championships. Sorry, mate.
Barbora from Slovakia, the super heavyweight world champ. She's been killer.
Yeah. She looks pretty stout as well, to be fair. But great match, and also nice to see King of the Table getting involved in some of the ladies' polls.
Sure.
I think that's a great one to start with. Two really lovely, endearing girls as well.
Mhm.
You know,
Imagine what they did in a year, or they gonna do in a year, what arm wrestling community has been asking for 10 years.
Mhm.
You know, closing this gap, and no bullshit conversation with negotiations, everything. You just want to see this match, we will put this match on. So Adam and Larry, great effing job, you know.
absolutely. It'd be nice to see what. I mean, the card hasn't been announced yet. It'll be nice to see who else is featured on there, who else we get to see. But one thing you can say that at the moment, the high level matches are coming thick and fast in the sport. Beyond belief, they really are. I mean, you know, I can only think that Ryan will shortly run out of Avengers memes to be able to. I mean, he's gone over. But anybody missing Ryan? He just couldn't make it today. He's not gone. He will be back. I mean, we got a super chat from Henry Bowerslaw. Thanks, Henry, for your super chat, mates. But looking forward to not getting flipped off by Ryan today.
Yeah, we're definitely losing like 25% super chats today because we don't have hateful ones coming in for Ryan.
I must admit, yeah.
That's gonna hurt.
John, you have to do it.
Boom! Yes!
Balance.
Taking on the mantle. There
Like
it is.
everything's in the world. Balanced.
Restoring the balance. But yeah, I think Ryan will be doing plenty of Avengers stuff going forward. So we got another super chat here from Kevin Tanky. So I hope I've not murdered your name there, brother. And he's put, is it true, guys? There is also Sarah Backman versus Gabby Vasconcelos at King of the Table 3. It is true.
Mhm.
Yes, it is true. I've seen that announced on, I think it was Gabby's channel. So it is true. Haven't seen anything yet from Sarah, but yeah, great match. Two of the best ladies ever to do it. So don't get a great deal better than that. And is anybody on the inside track in terms of any of the other matches that they can let us know? Maybe Ray.
About what? About which ones?
Do we know any other matches that have come out yet, official or are about to? Anything we can sort of, you know?
Donovan Hutchinson. Are you talking King of Table?
King of the Table.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. Adam's in the chat. Adam can spoil it for us.
Oh god damn! Adam Hamilton. It might be that they've just not set them yet. You never know. But
I can't
great
discuss
way to
this
start.
at the moment.
Absolutely. Great way to start. That's for damn sure. So we got Carolyn Looms with a super chat. One of the Uncle John fans, Carolyn, and straight away she's brought Uncle John back in. She's put, who will be reffing Uncle John's match at Iron House? Will it be your dad?
Yes. How about not Paul Maiden? How about that?
It may not be Paul Maiden. Maybe Mick Holland. Maybe we'll see. But Maiden will definitely be there. I think
Anyone who doesn't threaten to slit my throat at the table is an upgrade.
Yeah, when the ref doesn't threaten to kill you if you don't stop getting on his tits. I think
He used to get on arm wrestling table just to get safe.
Right?
The bad man, Mr. Maiden. And Carolyn's put, let's go Brandon with Gary cracks Gabby's wrist back. Kind regards. Yeah, Gary Roberts. He actually got a win on Gabby, didn't he?
He did. Long time ago, though.
Yeah, hell of a long time. So about 10, 12 years ago. Long
Not anymore.
time ago. Wow. So we know one other match. And it will be taking place 26th of June. And it is a big match, ladies and gents. For those of you who have not heard yet, number one, I'm amazed. Where have you been? It's going to be, I would say, certainly for Devon LARRATT, probably the biggest match of the many massive matches that he's ever pulled in his life. I think this is potentially, because of the circumstance, a defining legacy match for the lad.
Yes.
For sure.
He will be pulling the Georgian giant, the man who's recognized as number one in the world right now. I'm going to say left and right arm, to be perfectly honest, LEVAN SAGINASHVILI.
Dude's so strong he doesn't have to pull with lefty.
I mean,
We're like, you got this. You got this, bro.
But joking aside, this is good. I mean, we saw a lot of emotion, a lot of tension when Devon pulled John. I can't help but think, and I wonder what you guys think, that this is going to be just as bad.
Oh, it's going to be worse.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, I know the whole East versus West thing that we're seeing with Engin's gig out in Istanbul. This is taking it to an entirely different level.
Yep.
I mean, the whole theme around Devon not pulling Europeans just went out the window on a flying carpet. Because, I mean, you know, anybody who had any doubts on that one, he's not only pulling a European, he's pulling the European. But I'll tell you what, the old meme that was going around with the climb, you know, the old Everest thing, you'd have to say, well, would you have to say, let's go around the house, mother fluffers, and see what people think. And I'm going to start with our technical director, the flowery shirted,
Jungle themed, Rolly Ray.
and Christmas themed. So come on, mate. Who've you got and how big a margin by?
I think LEVAN is the favorite. However you look at it, I think if Devon can prove, how I look at this match, Devon is the challenger, LEVAN is the king. Let's see what can challenger do. He has time to prepare. Right now, it could look exactly like Dennis and Devon, or it can be like Mike and Devon, or it can be anything in between. We don't know. However you look at it, we don't know. We don't have enough data. So everyone's been pulling one side, the other one been pulling the other side, and they don't really interact between them, especially LEVAN, because LEVAN is pretty new to the scene, to be honest. So my guess is as good as anyone's.
Give us a score, Ray.
Score? If I think that LEVAN's gonna win, I think LEVAN cannot win if he gets stopped.
Yep.
So I think it's gonna be 6-0. If they're pulling 6 rounds, 4-0, 6-0, that's where I see it. Because I don't think he's gonna get stopped. If he gets stopped, then everything is out the window and we'll see what happens.
Do you think that if he got stopped once, it would be over?
No, he needs to. So how I see it, I don't think the side pressure and a hand will be too much for Devon to contain. However you look at it, Devon's going to be in open top roll or king's move or whatever, at least on first 2 rounds. If he does damage in that position for long enough, then there's an opening. Because I don't think, we saw the domination he did on Dave Chaffee. And we saw how Devon was dealing with Dave Chaffee's hand, back pressure, side pressure. So just by a little comparison there, that's how I see it.
Paul, it's coming to you next, mate.
Oh, man, Ray's so spot on with the idea of like how it could break out. It almost has to be 6-0 either way, I feel like. I mean, like, and in the stance that Devon gets a stop and controls the rest of the way. Or he just loses 6 straight. I will say I'm a consummate supporter of the underdog. Thus, I am in Devon's corner all the way. Contrary to a lot of people's negative comments and DMs that I got after stating my opinion on John and Devon.
Not just me then.
Oh yeah. Plenty of them. So yeah, I'm in full support of Devon. I mean, you got to root for this guy. He's going up against the #1 in the world, and the real question is, how far can Devon push himself? Really, he's got time now. So what is the preparation going to be? And the interesting part is I really go back to, I think it was a talk with Travis and your buddy Giannis, where Travis talked about how weird he like how much money it was going to take for him to pull Dennis or something like that. And he's saying, I need $100,000 to turn myself into whatever it takes to compete with him. So I guess my question is, you know, really how much weight can Devin gain and how big can his body structure get? And, you know, I don't know, man. I'm really, really interested for it. And I think the John match, regardless of how one-sided it was, it really primed the pump for this next really big match. Regardless of where John stands on the world rankings, or if he doesn't stand at all, it really just brought another level of energy to this match. And I'm also really interested to see how the dialogue works going back and forth. It seems like LEVAN is getting more in tune with posting on social media, his YouTube channel. I mean, watching LEVAN's video reacting through the Devin and John match was really entertaining. And it you know, LEVAN's such a nice guy and everything, but to kind of see him in those captive moments and his responses to what was going on and some of the things about two hands, and it could get really, really interesting and really, really fun. So I don't know. I mean, I'm really, 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 really rooting for Devin. I'm really rooting for Devin, but I'm with Ray. I think LEVAN is such a huge, heavy favorite, and the Mount Everest thing is really a great analogy.
Just before we go to John, I'm going to come back to you a moment, Ray, and just say, do you have a favorite in the match personally? Do you have somebody you'd like to win, or not so much bother?
No, I like both of them. I think this is a great matchup. I don't think you have to have favorites. I just think that LEVAN is the favorite.
Oh yeah.
But like, I like both of them. I want to see a good match. I want to be surprised always. So the worst thing that can happen for me is usually when I'm not surprised. When you think that's going to happen like this and it happens like that, it's not satisfying. Because nothing changed in my mind. I didn't achieve anything new or saw anything new or experienced anything new. So I hope to get surprised.
Yeah. I really like as far as between, like, I like both those guys. They're mega, you know, and the more I'm paying attention to LEVAN too, I really, for the most part, I think he carries himself really well. I like it. And I mean, when he gets to the point where he's a little bit more articulate, maybe in English and everything else, I think he could be a really endearing type character that contradicts his physical appearance, you know, and I really like that about him completely. But you got to root for your fellow North American.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see people pick sides on this one, because
if that would be LEVAN and all, we all know who I would be rooting for.
You'd be going for LEVAN.
If
it was Ryan pulling LEVAN,
anyone else.
Yeah. Now let's go over to Uncle John, mate. How you got this? I mean, obviously you're going to be in the Devon corner. I don't even need to ask that. You're going to be in the Devon corner.
Let me just go incognito here. Few words. Number one, the thing that interests me a lot, when you think about the Devin and John match, there was a huge divide in the community, right? Yep. And from the polls that I did, it was always about, you know, when asking who's going to win this match, it was always like 75-25, somewhere in that range. The poll I just put up a couple days ago, or yesterday actually, Devin versus LEVAN, is 51% to LEVAN and 49% to Devin. Now you have to take into account there's a lot of people that they don't follow things. They don't really, it's just voting for your favorite, but that still carries weight. So I think the way the community responds to this is going to be madness, total chaos. That
carries a lot of weight when it comes to staking and selling them blocks.
Yes.
Which is a big driver.
Now, I want to say a couple things. Number one, I really agree with what you guys have said. Number two, Devin LARRATT is going to beat LEVAN like a redheaded stepson 4-3. It's going to take 7 matches. It's going to be a gutter war. Devin's eyes might literally come out like Arnold in Total Recall, but we are going to see something amazing. And I will fly directly beside Devin straight into the sun in order to see it.
I love it. How do those 4-3? How does it tell us how it breaks out, John?
Oh, it's 3 really bad ones followed by 4 that make you want to die. Is that clear enough?
That's it. That's all I need. I thought you were going to say it would be more detailed.
So we're just going to knock over a couple of super chats. I mean, coming in thick and fast, and hold that thought, John, because we're going to go back to that in a minute. So thank you for your super chat. Neil, pick up these nuts. You
That's
see
the
how
best one in the
excited
world.
Ryan got, like a little girl getting a new baby doll because Mario Tambik has pinned Cody. I did see that. Larry said that Kadesha will be on King of the Table. So if he's saying that Alex is confirmed, I haven't seen that yet, mate. Thanks for the heads up. Still haven't seen it yet. Sasquatch, thanks for your super chat. I can't help feeling a bit gypped not having the mega match on Arm Wars. What the hell? I'm pretty bummed. Any thoughts? To be honest, mate, not really. I mean, from my perspective, Arm Wars is a little bit different in that respect. We are going to be doing big name matches, and we're also going to be doing matches which are just excellent arm wrestling matches between good arm wrestlers and good characters. That's what we're looking to do. It's a little bit of a different feel. The channel launches on Christmas Eve in the UK, so Christmas Day, Australia. And you'll see when you start to see those matches coming every Friday. We're going to put one out, and you'll see what it is about. We're going to make this so you get an opportunity. Look at Ray. No, Ray's will be out in about June. Everybody else a bit quicker than that. Well, the first match out, Alex Kadetchi at Ryan Espy will be the.
You're on mute, Ray. You're on mute.
He is.
I said I'll slip your throat.
I've got your throat while you sleep, fat boy.
I'll just call Paul Maiden. I'll just Paul. He's like, makes sense.
Paul's done terrible things in my car. I don't want to.
Done worse than slit Neil's throat, from what I've heard. Way worse.
Oh, mate. I don't fear Paul physically. I fear what he is. The things he's done.
Presence, his aura.
Once woke up with Paul Maiden doing a helicopter about only a couple of feet away from me. I thought, what are you doing? And I said, Paul, you all right, son? And he's just swirling his knob round. And I'm like, Paul, what are you doing? He said, I'm just warming up. I still didn't know what he was warming up for, but it was disturbing enough in a room full of blokes.
You just left the country, yeah?
Yeah, I just thought, all right, mate, edit whatever. Come in to the show. So we got Sap the Beast financial advisor in the chat. Thanks for your super chat, mate. Hey, guys, just wondering if the super chat donations can go direct to the Perfect Storm for a better pulley system. My client is bankrupt and grieving. Cheers. I think do you think Sap the Bee was Bob Brown?
Yeah.
Somebody told me that he was Australian.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was going to take a
Hey, I haven't fought. I know he bugs Devon like hardcore.
Yeah, that ain't Bob.
Is there more? Is there something I don't know?
It's just been he donated heavily when he came on here, and John said that he bought him a pulley system, which is what that gag's about. But it was, a couple of hundred.
That ain't Bob.
£100, and I thought, well, Bob's got a few quid.
Yeah,
Bob,
Bob will take it to his house. Bob isn't going to donate it on Super Chat, I don't think.
But he's the kind of guy that might. Yeah, I'll check it. We're moving old school. Oh, here we go. Thanks for this one, mate.
Bob Brown and Devon has like a little bad blood.
Always, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we've got, it's nice to see we've got a couple of wankers in the chat, and here's one now. Neil, I read anything on the teleprompter pickup. Thanks for that, and fuck off. Devon pulls only twice a year. So weak. I'm Ron Burgundy. Thanks very much, son, and fuck you very much. So, Carolyn Loons, thank you for your chat. Adam Silver looking strong, Neil. Adam versus who? We don't know, but Adam used to be a puller. He's from the crop, so don't doubt the man, Adam Silver. Good dude. V-Pose in the chat. Hi, thanks for your chat, mate. He's put, I hope we will see the focused and shaved Devon versus LEVAN. We're going to get to this in a minute and speak about how we think it'll come in. And not the joking and nervous Devon with hair extensions. Yeah, I think he's going to take this very, very seriously indeed, mate.
Definitely is.
I really do. So, Juju Mugu with a super chat. It will get ugly. In Devon's unboxing 8-hour video an hour ago, he already said Sabine and Levin are in love and in a relationship with each other. Okay.
Sabin? That didn't happen, did it? Somebody put a link.
Yeah.
LEVAN roasted him.
You're talking about the inventor of the bloody quadratic fist.
Quadratic power.
Yeah, the most evil absolute training equipment of all. I'd love to try that.
Yeah.
Just to see how bad it is on you. I bet it is hard though.
I think it's so terrible. It doesn't move.
Have you pulled on one?
No.
I've never tried, but Ryan
But
swears.
I'm more
by it. That
intrigued
movie
by
looks
the day.
amazing. Yeah, it looks pretty frigging good, to be fair. Okay, Juju Mugu with another one. What's in the future for Brandon Filthy Power?
Whatever that guy wants.
I'm a
Yeah.
big fan.
Anything he wants.
I want to see him go against like a top 15, top 10 North American guy. I want to see him. I want to see like an arm war style matchup, like somebody who can kind of handle his move or has the acumen to like make that whole match long and ugly. And I don't know who. I'm not sure.
Well, the interesting thing is as well, he's just getting started, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's only just really getting into it. He's come from powerlifting, got a good pedigree there. Come over to arm wrestling. It's another one of those great crossovers.
Yep.
So the fact that the lad's not been doing it long, and he's a really entertaining character, really endearing character.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he
looks a little bit biblical.
You know, I was impressed with him.
Me too. He was patient. Like I thought the first round, I was like, all right, it's gonna be a 6-0. Larry's gonna get his dub, you know. And then the stops happened and like the transitioning, the quick shoulder roll. I mean, I was really impressed. I was really impressed by the guy.
Yeah.
If we can make
As
this
an arm wrestler.
anyone's fault, we have to make it Adam Silver's fault.
I mean, it's unusual for this show. It's usually Ryan's fault,
Ryan's not here.
regardless whether or not Ryan had anything to do with it. I mean, I blame Ryan for the invasion of Crete.
Mm.
You know, it's usually Ryan's fault. But when he gets back on, we can blame him then, Ray. Just wait a couple of weeks, he'll be back. So Juju Mugu with another super chat. He's just wanted to give a quick flip to Ryan Bowen, even though he's not here. See, Juju Mugu knows how you go down.
Yeah.
Daniel Begley with the super chat. Nothing on there, mate, but thank you for supporting the channel. Morton Erickson, also, thank you very much for your super chat, mate. Roger Cunningham, same thing. He's a good dude, isn't he?
Yeah. That's my
Good
guy.
boy.
Love Roger Cunningham. Big fan.
Yep.
Yeah, got to get out fishing with that dude at some point. Neil, pick up these nuts with another super chat. I hate you, but I can love you, as Matt said. Okay, I felt like Devon got out-trolled by John's fan.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever happened to him because he also gets the US support, but not that time. Yeah, I think when you're pulling John Brasink, you're kind of pulling an institution. You're pulling the holy grail of arm wrestling. You know? I mean...
Well, think about it. You're going into a match where you have zero chance of being the good guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zero chance.
Everybody loves John. I know, obviously, Paul made himself popular last week. But a lot of people, even the guys that weren't offended in any way by the sort of aggressive nature and the mind games and the war gaming that went on before it, I bet even Devon felt bad beating John.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, I felt like all the lead up, I think Devon's gap was big enough that and I mean, after talking to him more and then after seeing the post match interview and everything, I think he almost gave John's level almost too much credit to the point where he thought he needed all that.
Yeah.
And it got weird. And that was the point I was really making. Like, I think Devon walks in there, you know, silent and polite and and still wins the same way. I don't know if he needed all of it. And that was really kind of the point that I'm making, that I was making.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's tough. It's tough. Like exactly what you're saying. Like, I think that this is the first time that we've seen Devon not be the complete fan favorite, you know? And I think it was weird.
But it's always been the sort of, you know, sell the match, sell the fight. And to be perfectly honest, anybody who tuned into that press conference, and if you weren't entertained, it was quality.
It was weird. I couldn't stop. It was like a car accident though. It was like, oh my gosh, I keep you know, is that somebody's arm hanging out the window? Like, I keep looking at it, but
I thought it was great. I mean, the build up between the lads, you know, it was really nice. And also, having seen him and I've spoke to Devin. I'm caught up with John yet, but they've both come out of it unscathed. And I'll tell you what's really nice to see: the fact that John was saying a couple of days after that he feels like he can improve a great deal and would like another crack at it. Yeah, that's nice.
I had a couple of some text back and forth with John, and he is unscathed. Like, he's no physical damage, nothing like that. And, you know, the feel of the conversation going back and forth, because I was kind of like, you know, I reached out like, I'm worried, like, and I said it to him, whatever you do, don't go back into retirement, please. Like, the sports needs you. It needs you. Keep going. You know, he's trying to figure out what the next step is. And, you know, obviously he's up in weight, and we had the cancellation match between him and Zoloev. Yeah. But I don't blame him for that. But I don't think that he's going to fade off. And,
See,
and that was what I was worried about.
I agree 100%, mate. And it's like, there's so many matches. That wasn't a good match. Let's be honest. The John and Devon match wasn't a good arm wrestling match. Mm-hmm. It was engaging. Everybody was involved in it. Mm-hmm. The emotion carried through, but it was all about the emotion. The match itself, there was not a lot there. It was a very one-sided affair, and it only went 4 rounds. You know what I mean? But you imagine if you put John in a match with Sandris Sedis.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a frigging great match. Great match. Mm-hmm. You're on mute, Rolly.
You know Sanders is pulling China Shaw, yeah?
Yes.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah. And that's just another measuring stick.
How's that going? How's that going to go, Ray?
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't have an opinion on that one. You don't know if
Sanders is a killer.
I mean, obviously, even though Sandris is a killer, Ray's going to lie all day. He's biased as fuck. It's like if, if there's a Latvian pulling, it's like if you ask my mum if I'm thin, my mum be like, mm-hmm.
Ripped,
shredded, my boy. No, that's the kind of thing you get. But Sandris is a bad man. I still like Jordan Sonev and John. I like Jordan Sonev and Sandris. It's a good match. But
you heard it here first, Jordan. Come on, son.
I know Sandris is in. I know he's in. Knock over a couple of super chats. Clark's 93. LEVAN versus Caderet. Car bet happening in Arm Wars. You never do know, mate. Because joking aside, Jerry Caderet ain't joking. Mm-mm. He's legitimately asking to get LEVAN back on and bet cars. That's some balls. When you're talking about LEVAN Saginashvili and betting a car, you know.
What did LEVAN say? What did LEVAN say in the video? I just read the subtitles. Well, if Jerry wants to give me a car, there's easier ways to do it than arm wrestle. He said. I cracked up reading it.
Absolute quality. We'll get Jerry and LEVAN together at some point, but let's be honest, not going to happen anytime soon because both those lads have signed on the dotted line, and we'll get to that in a minute as well because that's got connotations for the likes of lads I feel for Vitaly LARRATT, Michael Todd. And we'll roll that out in a second. Just knock these over. Hermes Grasper Weenie. Do you think grip strength helps with arm wrestling? Or am I grasping for no reason?
Technical director, Rolly Ray. You want to take that on?
How would you think that having weak hands will not help you in arm wrestling? But training
people,
training for grip will not do anything if you don't do arm wrestling. Yeah. So do you train your grip for arm wrestling strength, or you just want to squeeze objects really hard?
Right.
The funny thing is, mate, the arm wrestling strength, it's not a crushing.
No.
You won't feel a great deal of crushing.
It's rolling
from an arm wrestler. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is containment. It's being able to keep your structural integrity throughout the movement. That's what you're looking for.
Neil, will dribbling help me in a basketball game, or hitting mitts will help me in boxing match?
You're cruel. Some of these new lads, Ray.
Yeah, but I mean,
ridiculous question. It's ridiculous question.
So I'll play like little devil's advocate to that, only because I'm good friends with Lucas Raymond and Jed Johnson and those guys in the grip world. A lot of what they do is the squeezing, crushing stuff that they do. Captains of crushing, all the pinch grip stuff is done with your wrist back. So Lucas has always said that it's a thin line because 80% of everything we're doing is with an open wrist.
Yeah.
So your fingers get stronger, but sometimes your wrist doesn't. Now, some of those things require a cupped wrist, but a majority of them are open. And that's where Lucas is like, if your fingers are going to get stronger, your crushing strength will get stronger, but it isn't all going to be applicable.
Absolutely. 100%. And take that one to the bank, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about Ray. It's late for Ray. where Ray is now, it's like 1 a.m. Literally is, isn't it? Is it midnight yet?
Yes, it's Paul Maiden is in your house.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Run.
Yeah, no, has anybody seen that film? Never mind. It's worse than that.
Imagine like the lights turn off now. Turned on.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And Paul's in the background doing a helicopter.
No, he's I can tell you some stories about Paul McGetton. Let me tell you now. So another super chat from Neil. Pick up these nuts. Is the way to beat LEVAN a super Kings move? Perhaps Devon should go all in on practicing the Kings move. I think Devon, is in his typical self, will use any and every available technique to try to win the match. Doesn't matter where it is. He will try and feel for a weakness. If there is one, he'll try and exploit it.
That's an interesting question, though. Like, what do you guys think? Like, if Devon's preparing for this, and like obviously in your head, Devon's analyzing the match, he's analyzing LEVAN. What would his primary focus area be as far as fundamental strengths to be able to compete with LEVAN?
Well, I was going to say, everybody's talking about the, Devon get this big and Devon be 150 pounds or what. Is Devon ever going to be as strong? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah. Not as just powerful. Probably not. Does he have enough weapons to potentially put him in the match? We will see. My biggest concern for Devon would be arm wrestling on the B side may be very, very risky with LEVAN. Because I think LEVAN's a lot better arm wrestler than people give him credit for.
Definitely is.
And with the greatest of respect to all the men he's pulled, with the one exception of Vitaly LARRATT, we've not seen anybody else expose anything in LEVAN. LEVAN's looked completely dominant. And even with Vitaly, who, as everybody who watches The Fix or any of my shows knows, I rate LEVAN and Vitaly nip and tuck. I don't think there's this massive gap between those two guys. It is conceivable, in my opinion, that Vitaly LARRATT could be the #1 guy in the world right now. We don't know. We don't know how those guys have progressed. I would actually say that there's been evidence that both men have progressed since they met, but we don't know how much. You know what I mean?
Do you know who else could be #1? Devin LARRATT.
Not in current shape, though. Not in my opinion, not in current shape. I think.
Get out of here, Neil.
What it is where can Devon go?
Yeah.
He just beat the greatest of all time. 6-0.
No comment.
Amazing.
I think what's going to be really interesting about this is how far Devon can go and he's prepared to go.
Yep.
And how much can you actually improve when you've been in the sport that long? That's another one for me, because usually a lot of your massive gains tend to be early in the sport, early in your career. You make massive gains, and if you try and look at a common body of work, okay, there's not a lot to draw on here, is there? I mean, let's say people might say, okay, well, there's Dave Chaffee. Well, if Dave Chaffee was a common body of evidence across the two, then that's going to steer you very heavily in the favor of LEVAN SAGINASHVILI.
Sure.
But the guy that beat Michael Todd in Dubai, was that a much stronger version of Devon? There's a romantic theory that says it is. You know, the old classic styles make matches. Yes, they do. How much is that going to matter? Very hard. Because usually, I'm going to say most times in my career, you've always had common points to draw upon, where you can look at the guys and see who they faced and draw conclusions off the back of that. You really can't here.
Yeah.
You just can't.
I feel like we're going to see the weirdest version of Devon ever. Like, I feel like this guy, we're not seeing Clark Kent, man. We're seeing Superman. I mean, maybe that's me just rooting for the underdog, but I feel like we're going to see the weirdest version of this guy ever. I got a feeling that he is going to do everything in his power and commit every ounce of himself to making this match as good as humanly possible.
Mate, I agree. I spoke to Devon the other day on the phone. I said to him, well, mate, great news that obviously, you know, this is the next one. And this was before it was officially announced, but he was sort of already like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm committed to that match now, and I'm not going to do anything else but that match. That's 100% where my focus is, and rightly so. Why get back in line? You know what I mean? But one thing was very clear. I said to him, look, for you, this is Eddie Hall's 500. You know what I mean? This is the career-defining match. And I'm not doing down on what's happened with John, and it's just a different thing. This is, for Devon LARRATT, this is the career-defining legacy moment right now. This is the one. And if you want to leave that undeniable moment in history where it's going to, you know, like the old Coming to America barbershop, you know, he beat Joe Louis's ass. It's one of those, isn't it? It's one of those, mate. It's where you're like, however, it's undeniable. If Devon beats LEVAN SAGINASHVILI, you have got to take that achievement seriously.
They'll find a way not to.
He's the man.
Used the King's move. He went his webbing. The webbing, guys. The webbing. LEVAN's webbing was low. Devin was high. Cheated.
There is going to be that element, without question. Yeah. You're definitely going to get the people who never want him to win. But in the sort of rational thought process of anybody who's writing the history of this sport, even the guys who've been harsh critics of Devon because of the moves, even my old mate Engin Terzi would probably take his hat right off and say, yeah, fair play, mate. That's a massive win. I really believe that as well. I think if he beats LEVAN, it's massive. Because there is also an argument, without sounding like a penis, there is also a genuine argument that LEVAN is the best or most powerful super heavyweight we've ever had. He's certainly in that conversation. You look back through the history of the sport, there's nobody that you think runs over him. I can't think of anybody that I think could run over him. You know? Don't know whether you disagree, guys, but it's hard to envisage anybody whipping his ass, isn't it?
Well, it'll be much more interesting that way if it turns out that Devin is the one that's holding the Infinity Gauntlet the whole time. Because let's be honest, if LEVAN beats Devin, things just progress forward. If Devin beats LEVAN, it's a new world, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. That makes it.
The reality hasn't been what we thought it was.
Right.
What does that do to like PAL and everything as a whole? So that's another question I kind of have. So this match is now, and I mean, maybe we shouldn't talk about it, but this match is going to be king of the table. How does that affect? I thought there was contractual stuff with the PAL. Maybe I'm not privy to that information.
I wondered the same thing, mate. I'm going to be honest. I wondered the same thing. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Unless there's some kind of, you know, agreement being made between LEVAN and PAL, and they're thinking, yeah, well, it's okay. You get like a day off school. You know what I mean? But
I'd be interested to know. Just interested to know.
Well, have I missed something, or is LEVAN still on a film for the foreseeable future?
No,
I thought it was. Isn't it done? In the filming done?
I thought it was. I know they moved location, but I thought he was still doing it. No,
maybe.
Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Now, does anybody know what the plans are for top 8?
That's what I'm at. That's where I'm scratching my head.
I.e., that sort of starts in January and finishes in May or something.
Right.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, how does that work? And then who's Kardeccia pulling?
Well, see, the other side of this whole scenario is, let's say you're Vitaly Lalatin or Michael Todd. This has sort of put you out in the freeze a little bit, hasn't it? Maybe not Kardeccia as much. I think of all of those guys, probably Michael No, probably Vitali the worst and Michael the next. I mean, Vitali Latin. Who the wants to pull him?
Kurdecha.
Who? Maybe.
Kurdecha.
Maybe.
That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
Tell you what, mate. Also, you know, if you're Michael, and your big thing is to get your name back in the books, to get your name back in the mix, then that's a match. Because kind of the same thing. It's a glory or bust match. But if you
he needs to destroy Gennady. He needs to make a statement.
Yep.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, that would be.
Yeah. He needs to make a statement.
Yeah.
With his style, it's going to be tricky for him to make that statement. Like for what the viewers are going to see, they're going to see long matches. I mean, for those of us that know Michael, if we know he's in control the whole time, we might know that, hey, it was one-sided. But I think a lot of viewers are going to see that match regardless of if Michael wins or not, and see it as very competitive, whether it was or wasn't.
Yeah, Michael, they look the same, don't they? You know what I mean? His matches look the same against a certain level of person. It's just that that level doesn't top out. He still does that to the likes of Dave Chaffee. In fact, he did it easily.
That's a really important thing to understand as a fan of the sport. Like there are a lot of like mid-level guys that can make it look like Michael's arm wrestling. Yeah. When he's not. It's just part of his style. Well,
he's gone through tournaments like that and got in trouble with people. I remember in the WAL that never was, he got in trouble with like Nick Zena, who's a great arm wrestler. He was all over Michael early in the competition. End of the day, Mike's still doing it and goes on and wins. You know, that's who the hell can do that?
Yeah, I remember one of my local buddies here in PA, Bill Runkle, kind of getting in Chicago, gave him like, I mean, he had to work for that win, you know, and it was just like, he came back like, I can't believe I made Michael arm wrestle.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It's funny that he can do that, and you got to give credit where it's due. It's incredible that he can do that. But if Michael could get a match, could secure a match, let's say the top 8 thing isn't going ahead for whatever reason, and I'm just to state clearly, I have no idea. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm sure it isn't. You know, I mean, every credit to the Professional Arm Wrestling League. They deliver events all the time and high-level events between mega arm wrestlers. But if Michael had a match with LARRATT and won, he's right back in the mix, isn't he? The Michael Todd 2.0 thing is real.
Yep.
That would put you right to the top of the pecking order. So I want to see who makes what play now. Jerry Cadaret's a little frozen out. Although Jerry Cadaret, I get the feeling, you know, would jump at the chance to pull Mike again. Would jump at the chance to pull probably anybody again, to be perfectly honest. That is one game mother fluffer right there. He don't care who he arm wrestles.
Isn't he pulling Chance? Was this
Well, I heard that was May. I heard he was pulling Chance in May. But for Jerry, I think that's more of a money thing. For Chance, it's more of a increase my legacy thing. Whereas Jerry's motivation is primarily money. I don't see that as the case when he's pulling Michael. I don't see that as the case if he's pulling, you know, he's betting cars with LEVAN. He's going to try and underline something and not be the forgotten man.
That Chance Shaw thing got a little emotional.
Yeah,
I don't know how much you read into that. I think it might be a little bit more than about money. It might be more like trying to set the record straight.
Yeah, because Jerry came after him pretty much.
Yep.
After all the talks and it makes sense. It makes sense, and it makes sense from both sides because they took him out of the rankings, something. But you have to be active. You have to be active. You know, arm wrestling is one of those sports where you have to win on table each time to prove that you are superior. You know.
Yeah. That was good. And I liked the little silence after that, Ray, that underlined what you just said. It made it somehow more serious.
I'm writing my script in the background. So
it was good, man. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
So here's a question I can't answer, actually. From Dave68, which is basic but really good. Thanks for your super chat, Dave. And he's put, hey guys, did Devin get a chance to meet up with Alex in Canada, or did he already leave? And I genuinely don't know.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did.
I didn't see any footage of it. And because of the timings of the visit, I can't imagine they'd arm wrestle him. I'd have done a bit left, but I genuinely don't think Devin would have done anything. just in case he'd suffered some kind of injury. But I am absolutely sure that they will get together and train, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm sure that that will be the case. Morton Erickson, thanks for your super chat. I want to hear what you have to say, Neil. I believe Devon can stop him. He's not the same as when he met Dave Chafee. He will be huge. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, mate. I think there's an opportunity in the match for Devon to do okay. The difficulty that I've got here is, as I said earlier on, the only point of common comparison here that we have is probably Chafee. So you're trying to bridge the gap in how much of a difference there was between Devon at that point and Devon when we saw him against Mike, or where he can go to. And also, as I said earlier, it's more for me, stylistically, I think there needs to be a change of approach from Devon. I think he needs to try to stop the match higher. I think he needs to try and tax the hand and wrist of LEVAN earlier in that arc. I think if he tries to arm wrestle on the counter and put the brakes on somebody that powerful in this bottom quadrant, I think it's really, really going to be tough, because LEVAN is quick, he's extremely powerful, and his hand and wrist look rock strong. I mean, the fact that it could stand up to Vitaly Liepins' hit with the height he's got, the massive power he's got, we have seen how strong he is. LEVAN's hand and wrist must be really, really solid at the moment. And that's what worries me. Because I do think that LEVAN's very well-rounded. I think the biggest weapon always that Devon's got is that Devon his endurance is immoral. I think he's got the best endurance in the game. So if he can start to tax him a little bit in the center of the table, in the upper third, then he's in the match, big time. Where will he go? How far can he go? I don't know. Paul, I know you've got to jump off here shortly, mate, but just wanted to check in with you on that comment that I made earlier on, mate. When you first get into the sport, you seem to be able to make massive gains, but they slow down.
Yeah.
How much room for growth has Devon LARRATT got at this stage in his career? Because he's not a young man. We're talking a 47-year-old man.
So I think, try to think of the best way to articulate it. I think, yeah, for sure. Devon, he doesn't have age on his side. He doesn't have, he's got the wear and tear on his body. He's got all these things against him. But, he has so much more experience. And I think he has experience in training. And in the idea, and that's why I was kind of asking the questions I was like, well, where's the hole? What does he focus on? I'm very interested to see how this plays out over the next few months or so. He's got plenty of time. And when it comes to age and everything else, it's one thing when you're in powerlifting, you've been around strongman forever. You know that there's an age point where you kind of peak out. Now there's also been some guys in strongman that have endured through their later years. I think arm wrestling is a little bit different. But I do also think that there is almost always a correlation between size and strength. So Devon being the stature that he is, the lever length that he is, his, being that ectomorph, his ability in his later years to put more weight on. I don't think we've ever seen the strongest Devon. And I don't think that the strongest Devon is behind us. So I think he has the ability to get stronger. I mean, it just depends on, how he focuses on certain key areas and how big he gets. And he has the frame to get enormous.
Yeah, he really does.
So we'll see.
Yeah, he's actually a bigger man than LEVAN.
Yeah. Which is super interesting.
Yeah, it is. And I really like that comment there that, you don't feel like Devon's reached his potential.
Yeah.
He is one of those guys that seems to always surprise people a little bit, or certainly the results do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, and I'm not drawing anything there from the John thing. I'm not talking about John. He can seem to go that extra mile. And,
yeah, that's to me what I'm rooting on. I'm rooting on Devon's preparation, the lead time, I'm rooting for his experience in preparation for these matches. And I know what it's like to be the underdog. I know what it's like to be the favorite. A hungry dog runs faster. So I feel like the edge in training, and also just watching that video, like LEVAN reacting to things, you know. I mean, I think one time in the video he said, "Oh, they're complaining about John's wrist being back." He said, "I'll just start the match with my wrist like this, and I'll get it back." Like, he's so confident that affects the level of effort that you put into your training. And I think it's just going to get really, really interesting. I also think this is a huge point in Devon's career. We talked about a little bit earlier. It's a point where he has this career defining match. He has the biggest match, the highest peak that he has to climb. And he also has this opportunity to just bolster the sport, you know, and he has his platforms, his social media platforms are going to make him so much money during this time. So like he has the glory of winning the match as a carrot to chase, but then he also has like all these financial and like advancing of the sport, all these other things that are also motivating him that LEVAN just doesn't have on his side.
No, but it's interesting, isn't it? Because
so that's my case. That's me hoping.
LEVAN probably feels like he can sort of fuel inject his side of things a little bit if he can take some of that shine off Devon.
Right.
Not in an adversarial way, but it's just like all your power comes to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I can beat you, people are suddenly you're going to get on my radar, because it's a huge match for him in terms of recognition outside of arm wrestling.
Yep.
You know, it's the schoolboy effect, isn't it? For those people who thought that schoolboy was the very best arm wrestler in the world, or they may think that Devon is the very best arm wrestler in the world, and he may be.
Well, and that's one of those fundamental things that, I mean, and Ray would know more than anybody, being overseas. I think that there's probably a frustration in the perception of arm wrestling from the pure arm wrestlers overseas that are you know, better than the North American ones. We've had just such a good platform, and Devin is like the leader of the new world as far as social media goes. He is the face of arm wrestling. Like, so many more people in the United States, random people, like, know who Devin LARRATT is. I was on a business meeting and like arm wrestling came up, and Devin LARRATT. I mean, just random people. My kid watches Devin. This is where Devin is. He's become a household name. And like you said, Neil, this is an opportunity for LEVAN to kind of get the recognition that he is due, you know, in the United States and in the media.
Yeah, it really is. It transcends the sport, doesn't it, in that respect? It's going to go into other circles. I mean, it's nice that Devon is that guy, because to be honest, you couldn't pick a better ambassador for the sport than Devin LARRATT. For those people who don't know Devon, and you'll see videos of Devon, footage of Devon acting a certain way to sell a match, or be a certain way to sell a match, or to get into his opponent's mind and the head. The reality of the situation is that for anybody that's met Devon, spent considerable time with Devon, or really knows Devon LARRATT's a great lad.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really, really good dude. You know, and I don't think you'll find anybody that disagrees with that. Okay, Travis, but other than Travis, you won't find anybody.
Travis loves him. Travis loves him. Travis is worried Devin doesn't like him.
But joking aside, he's a great bloke. He's got a natural, endearing quality about him. He's extremely approachable, really, really good guy. And he's done an enormous amount for the sport. And it's nice. Both these lads are smashing lads. I mean, LEVAN SAGINASHVILI, he always sort of, you know, you see these Eastern European guy and they have to be like Ivan Drago. And he couldn't be further from that. He's like a giant teddy. He's a great bloke. Really, really warm, lovely fella. No airs and graces, very straight, very down to earth. And the man is a savage. He's incredibly powerful. So really, really interesting and engaging match. And I think it's got the recipe to really draw people in. I think it's a very smart move for Core Sports to have announced it as they have, because it takes away a lot of the noise in the background for both guys and allows them to focus 100%. And the interesting thing for me, probably the most interesting thing for me here, is it's that sort of mission before self thing. And what can Devon do? I'm genuinely interested to see exactly what you've just talked about, Paul, come to life. When you've got the ability to have singular focus,
Mhm.
financially,
Mhm.
motivationally, everything steers you in one direction.
Right.
The frame's all there, everything's there. How good can you get? What can you do?
Yep. And Devin being a true professional arm wrestler, we're going to get to see every minute of it. So like as far as the fans go, we got to be thankful, because honestly, like if you're going into this level of camp, you're probably better off going radio silent, you know, and just doing your thing. But Devin's not going to do that. He's going to let us see every moment of it. And even if that doesn't help him, so you got to kind of be thankful for that, you know?
Yeah. I actually wondered whether he would, you know.
I
wondered whether he would sort of back off a little bit.
I think backing off is the best strategy, but I think that we have those balancing things there of like, you know, he has an opportunity to make a ton of money too, you know, through social media. And so I know his, like, you know, from like watching the John match, he will go above and beyond to sell a match. And that's part of it, you know, even if the match doesn't need sold. Like, I don't think the match needs sold, but I think he's going to oversell it. Which
is great, because the fact that he's prepared to do that shows a lot of balls. I mean, just he took so much abuse, and it's going to get. He's just a man. It's going to get in your mind a little bit. It's going to piss you off. It's going to upset you when people are making judgments and things like that. Of course, it's going to upset him. It's going to piss him off that people see him in a certain way. But super intriguing, really is. Let's knock over a couple of these super chats. If Paul has to jump off very soon, which I know he does, he had limited time tonight, guys. I just want to say, if you're not subscribed to Lethal Arms, please do get over, support the White Oak. This is one of the nicest guys in the sport, always there, gives up his time for everybody on any podcast, on anything else, loves this thing, and one of the brightest prospects in the game today, particularly from North America. Get over and support the White Oak. He's one of our own, and he's the man.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, guys. Hey, I got to drop. It's Christmas cookie bacon time. I'm going to go do that.
Nice.
Mate, if I don't speak to you before, have a lovely Christmas, brother.
You too, guys. Hey, have a blessed one. Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll be talking to you guys soon.
Cheers, mate. So, Daniel Begley. Neil, is it true that you were trying to set up high-level matches with top Europeans against Devon between 2008 and 2013? It was actually between 2007 and 2013, mate. And yes, that is absolutely 100% categorically true. No doubt about that. People didn't want that match. Not on the right arm. Let's have a look. Knock over a couple more of these super chats. Yeah, I mean, just while I'm going through these, it's going to be a challenge, I think, for arm wrestling, because you do get the feeling that this match is so significant. I don't know what you feel, John, on this, but this match is so significant. It's probably going to take some. It's going to swamp most things. Even when we got massive cards, this is going to take so much of the talk, so much of the chat. It's ridiculous.
In my opinion, this is going to be a very high level singular focus of the arm wrestling community for the next 6 months. There's no way it can't be. I think this is what I said in the video I put out the other day. This is our end game for what we've been building, all of us right here that have been online and showing arm wrestling to new people over the last 2 to 3 years. This match represents kind of a culmination of a lot of that stuff. The rise of Devin. This is the absolute peak. And this match, regardless of how it ends up, it will act as like a before and after. Before Devin LEVAN, after Devin LEVAN. Either way. So I think there's no doubt this match is going to break the books for sure.
Ray, how significant is this match, mate? In terms of, you know, when this thing starts to get carried away, which it will, and all these emotions start coming in, and everybody starts talking about who's the greatest of all time, and the Devon fans going about him being the GOAT if he beats LEVAN, and LEVAN fans going about, you know, this is underlining his legacy and his dominance globally. How significant, how big a match is it in your mind, honestly? Because I know you always tell people exactly what you think. Where do you see it?
I think this has the potential to be the biggest match of the decade, just because of the impact. First of all, the fans are so interested in this, and real arm wrestlers are really interested in this, because you can hear, you know, when Devon's fans are crazy, and even though Devon don't have the victories that most people want him to have to solidify him being as one of the greatest right arm arm wrestlers on the planet, this is the opportunity to fix that. And I don't know if it's too late or the challenge is too big. We're finally going to see it. And we've been waiting for this match for quite some time. We've been waiting for the match to close the gap between East and West for quite some time. It's not two number 5 or number 7 ranked guys in the world. This is, it was LEVAN. And at some point people said, well, Mike is better. And Mike was right there. And then Devon beat Mike. And now it's right here in people's eyes. What's the reality? We will find out in June. And I'm super excited. I think this will break the internet. I think this will be, because they have so much fans outside of our community, and it will do big things for arm wrestling. However you look at this, if you're an influencer, if you're a promoter, if you're just starting your arm wrestling club, you will have people. You will have more people than ever just because of this event. And they're going to talk. Like the Dennis and Devon match, it's still active. Every day people go there and watch it. It's one of those like big moments in arm wrestling. I saw that like that video has 7 million views or something like that. There's not 7 million arm wrestlers, So I think this has the potential to be even bigger one. The pay-per-view will bring that, bring it to consumer, to viewers. We will see it on YouTube, and the build-up is going to be fantastic. This is what we actually need. We really need. And then we need those other matches. We need Vitaly to be active. We need Mike to be active, Jerry, whoever. We just need those guys to arm wrestle. We don't need them to wait for a year to figure out something. No, we need to mix it in, and slowly we will see the real rankings rise, because everyone's rankings are hypothetical. They put up this hypothesis that these are the rankings.
How do you think that Vitaly and Mike stay active, mate? Because who the hell are they going to pull if not each other?
Whoever is in that top 10 conversation, whoever makes sense to have. Like with Vitaly, it's very hard to figure someone else. I think Dave Chaffee and him would be an interesting matchup. What can we see there? I think Mike, of course, Alex Kurdecha, I would love to give him some time, but why not? Let's be honest, why not? Because he's been just destroyer. Hermes, let's give him some time to settle in his new body, and he will make a difference too. So there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys, and the new ones will come. We just need to give them opportunity to arm wrestle. For quite some time, we don't have the opportunity for top guys to arm wrestle.
Who are the sleepers in your arm? In fact, just before we get into that, let me just knock over a couple of these super chats that are backing up. Mizel Jadot, he's put, I can confirm Devon said this, but I can't remember what he was referring to. Can anybody think? Mizel, I'm so sorry, brother. I can't remember what the comment was prior to that.
Sabin and LEVAN, dated,
yeah. Quadratic fists.
Yeah. Something like
that. Carolyn Looms, $5 for Bowen sitting on his couch. He never, even when he's not on, he takes it, doesn't he? Jake, thanks for your super chat, mate. Can we get RVJ's daughter versus Ryan Bowen's son at King of the Table 3? That's not one for me. Definitely one you'd have to speak to Larry and the team about. I think there's a better chance of getting a love bite on me floppy dog than of that happening. Harry Venables with a super chat. Devon was too scared to pull John Brasink out of the straps. Opinions vary on that one, brother. I'm not sure he was. I think it was he was okay with that. Roger Cunningham's lit joint. Shout out for Michigan's finest. You can't write this stuff. Victor Munoz, John Brasink versus Schoolboy. More interesting match, to be fair. A more interesting match. I'm sure that would separate some opinion, but definitely a more interesting match. Sap the P with a super chat. Devon would lose to Hermes, Kadetcha, Vitaly, and even Dave under strict rules. He's just trying to save face and still claim he's number 2.
Yeah, well, Sap the B thought he was going to lose to John Brzenk. So what does that tell us about his matchmaking abilities?
Clocks 93. Jock versus Sonef. Have they ever pulled Oleg and Jordan? I can't recall if they have pulled, but that are 2 very powerful lads. In fact, I think there's a match being planned. The Georgian kid, unbelievable Georgian kid, 75 guys pulling him, isn't he?
Jock versus Betkilioniani at 90 kilos.
Yeah. And that should be, because I'll tell you what, that's a serious individual. So that's a match there right there. Oleg's got his work cut out. Starts as favourite, but believe me, very, very serious. Evan Burgoyne is in the chat. Schoolgirl is in big, big trouble. Glad Bowen's gone. Thanks for that. Evan, just wading in there, mate. Congrats on the match, Evan, as well. Entertaining individual, Evan Burgoyne. If you're not subbed, get over there. The beer man, Evan Burgoyne. Chris Gammo with a super chat. Hi, gents. Paul, would you suggest working with... Oh, he's gone, brother. We'll get Ray on it. Would you suggest working with grippers with a bent wrist, or to continue training with open wrists, but also put separate and equal focus on wrist workouts? Merry Christmas and happy holidays all. I'll answer that one for you, mate. To be honest, if you can strengthen your hand in any way, it is going to give you benefit. But one of the things that's going to give you fundamental benefit is if you try to train with your hand and wrist in the position that you're going to utilize while you're arm wrestling. The difficulty you're going to have if you don't is you'll fall into the same problems that a lot of guys do. They focus on being very, very strong, but they never join the dots. And that's the issue. You have to be emulating what you're going to do and get that. Those dots need to be joined first. Don't worry about being so strong before you can arm wrestle. Get the arm wrestling dialed in, get the movement, the fluidity, the technical proficiency dialed in, then layer the strength on top of that, mate. That's what I would look to do.
You know, hold on. I want to answer that question and do 2 plugs at the same time. Okay. So as most of you know, I have got a match coming up at Arm Wars Iron House at the end of January. Plug number 1.
Nice.
I really wanted to get a lot stronger, in a lot better shape. And I did train very, very hard leading up to the first Arm Wars, but I needed something different. And after I met Coach Ray and a lot of the Latvians, I officially am now, the core of my training program is a Voice of Arm Wrestling Latvian training program. And let me tell you, in the last 3 to 4 weeks, it changes you. It changes you a little bit. So if you want to avoid all the questions, go to Voice of Arm Wrestling, snag up a little training program. You guys got a ton of them, right? You got beginners, you got intermediate, you got advanced, right, Ray? Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need. I'm just following Ray's
Patreon system. We have a monthly coaching with Giannis. Every week we put up a new workout program. We have a forum where we talk with each other. You can find all the information on our Patreon site or under any videos.
That's on the Voice of Arm Wrestling, guys. Check it out. Ray also sells merchandise, and as you can see, Ray is a very tasteful young man and has some wonderful shirts. He also loves a cat.
I want to get on those grippers. If I
go for it.
So I don't like grippers, and I will explain why. First of all, I have never really seen anyone getting stronger by squeezing grippers. Grippers will make you open up your arm and close your arm. And what you will get stronger is your finger flexors. So it's not that this is one. We have our finger flexors, and they work like this, and we have our wrist flexors like this. This is the deeper layer of the forearm. This is superficial level of the forearm. So the guys that usually get really strong grip, I like them because they will hold on while I bend their wrist open.
Yes.
Because if you just do this and not enough of this, it doesn't matter how strong you hold, because the first joint that is going to break is this one, and it's very easy to open up. This is why sometimes you will have guys from bouldering, the rock climbing, they will come in and they're like, they will have these super strong hand, and it doesn't matter because the hand is doing no movement at all. They just squeezing and it's very easy to open the wrist because they're holding on so strong and so tight. So if you want to make the best of your arm wrestling training, you have to train these pretty separately or together with, open arm, finger flexor exercise, things like that. But think about not just this, but also this and also this. It all goes to the forearm.
There you go, ladies and gents. That's great advice. Agree with everything you just said, Ray. Imagine one of the things is almost like if you set something up which is rigid, guys, it's there to be broken. I always try to think like a crumple zone in a car. Okay, it absorbs things. It can, and the same thing. If you can put some softness into your wrist and hand and move to gain. So move forward to gain ground, sideways to gain ground, move into the match and try to make sure that your movement enhances your structural integrity, enhances your position at the table. Don't just set up something and expect it to be strong enough, because usually that won't be the case. The static side of things is not beneficial in most cases. You'd have to be astronomically strong in order to be able to make that effective for you.
Plus, there's a difference, when you do it like expanders and move them, you're actually not having any resistance on your arm. You're just moving something that is difficult. This is why you need weights, because weight is an actual force coming to your arm. It's not just gonna stop here. So if I press, the only part that's working is my fingers. When you arm wrestle, your whole arm is activated. So someone will say grippers work. Of course they work. They will strengthen your grip and something, but those are not specific arm wrestling movements. That's the difference. This is how you will say, well, runners need to do some squats. What kind of squats? Because they differ. Someone that's running 100 meters, they will do some explosive. They can get strength. But if you're running high distances, you need to work on different things. It's the same thing, specific and non-specific or general training. So grippers, I would say general training. You have them in your car, work on it. You will work your finger flexors. You will have more blood flow in your tendons, your medial epicondyles. This part that usually hurts is going to have benefits from it. And no one does this in Latvia. I have seen walls. I usually see walls with Asian countries where they have grippers there. It's just squeezing. You don't really squeeze.
Yeah, it's not a gripping. You don't get that crushing force in arm wrestling. Containment, being able to keep that integrity as you move. If you can keep that integrity as you utilize the movements you need in the sport, that's going to do the benefit for you. Not just trying to set something up, make it static and strong and resist. Don't let people hit you. Bad. You try to hang on to people in arm wrestling, they will knock your head off. You won't be able to do it. It's pretty much that simple. Okay. Carolyn Lewis with a super chat. Neil, thanks for not embarrassing us today with Australian arm wrestling nottings. She really isn't a fan.
Yeah.
What did Ryan do to Carolyn? I think she's not a fan, mate. Sap the Bee. Devon has no honour despite John being weaker and older. He still had to cheat in the setup and King's move. Was a bad look. I was hoping he'd at least arm wrestle fair. Sap the Bee. To be honest, mate, you need to rewatch that match. Go back and rewatch that match.
He's just in the delusion part of the grieving process. That's all.
It's funny how everyone that makes the comments about John and Devon's match and talks about unfairness and things, they have never arm wrestled. They haven't gone to tournament. They haven't spent time. It's like you need to understand both guys want to win, and you will do everything you can to win. You will exploit every little thing. And it's how much the rules allow. That's how much you're going to do. If I can start competition with my wrist bent, thank you, ref. Thank you, ref. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. These people have never arm wrestled. And they're going to talk. Those are the same people that say, why do you use your body?
I think there's a point where you can be a fan of a person, but if that's sort of starting to intrude on seeing things in a really biased and strange way, you need to go back and analyze a little bit closer. I love John. John's a friend of mine, has been for 20 odd years, but John would admit that in that night, on that day, it wouldn't have made much difference. He was a little bit outgunned. It was that simple. Sometimes it's your day, and it was Devon's day that day. It's just how it was. He was stronger, and he won the match and deserved to win the match on the night. Doesn't detract from John. John's the best that's ever done it. It's pretty much that simple. But to cut John some slack, 57 years old, he hadn't been active in the sport for 4 or 5 years, and he needed a little bit more miles under his belt and get himself back. The good news is for you, SAPTHEB, and all the John fans out there, John is continuing to train, and I'm sure that he will improve. John doesn't need to be matching up with these giants either. He just doesn't need to do that. And I hope we see John go into a slightly lower weight class and pull with some guys around those classes. And I think you'll see him in some great matches, and we'll all benefit from that. Seeing the best of us back in action and competing to his best, which is what I hope and I believe we will see. Yep. MTT's laboured lung sounds with a super chat. Could you breathe a little closer and a little harder into the microphone? I've decided that's how I like my content the best. That one's just never getting old at the moment for a lot of... The weird thing is on that, right? Not to sort of burst that bubble, but I was thinking about this after everybody came on and put it in the show the other week. Surely if it was Mike, I would have heard him on his microphone, because I couldn't hear the event, but I could hear Mike. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to get some hate. There's a lot of people.
Oh, but I'm telling you, I don't know. Mike was quiet at my end. I couldn't hear him clearly. But what I could definitely not hear was him breathing like hell. I don't know. But I figure I would have been able to hear it because I could hear his microphone. I could hear his feed. So maybe they'd left one of the mics on one of the athletes who pulled and was knackered. Maybe. I don't know.
Could have been. And
the sound engineer could have been drowning out when Mike kicked in, because I know they said when he started talking, it stopped. Maybe he had him on the same channel. Look, I don't know. You know what you will be able to hear? The collective force of European tears hitting the ground when Devin LARRATT destroys LEVAN Sakinashvili. flooding in Eastern Europe. Flying in to wind up the situation. Carolyn Looms, can't wait for Brandon Allen on Uncle John's show. When is that going down, John?
I think we're going to try to get Brandon and Jason Latona, his buddy, on Beers with Bad Company Tuesday night.
Nice. Tune in for that, guys. Get over to John's channel. Check, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Good stuff on there, and he's as active as anybody in the game. He will also be active in Arm Wars Iron House, mother fluffers. Coming soon. And we'll have him on with Maynard Ninjas, the thing, very, very soon. As we'll also have Rolly Ray, who's in a 4-man battleground at the Iron House.
The rest of the guys.
We'll get them on, son.
No, but who are they?
You've got quite a field. You start with a Swede, Patrick.
Okay.
Serious.
Yeah.
On the opposite side of the draw, we got Trolls Pedersen going against Adrian Popescu on the right arm.
Okay.
That should be interesting. I don't know whether you've ever pulled
battleground, dude. That's a
right-handed.
That's I have to prepare like a lot of side pressure for that. I don't see it any other way.
Adrian's right is not his left.
Yeah, I know, but for yeah,
Patrick's serious as well.
Patrick,
so yeah,
serious, yeah,
very serious. So Grip and Rip with a super chat. Thanks, brother. Really appreciate it. He's put thanks for all the great content and have a great Christmas. Thank you. Really appreciate that, mate. Michael Todd's calcified bone. Hey.
700 people watching.
I'm going to work out how you
getting new
that.
Ground from 20 people, usual audience. We have like close to 1,000.
Argue with that. Lovely darts.
So much people don't have
in the chat. We love you. So Michael Todd's calcified bone with a super chat. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Can't wait to test myself against Kennedy's wrist. Even my students know who Devin LARRATT is. Everybody knows who Devin is at the moment, mate. And I'll tell you what they will do. If he does what John says he's going to do. Yeah, he will turn the world on its head. Where are you going to put your money, ladies and gents? Where will your money go? Let's give us a quick show in the chat. Who you got? You got LARRATT. You got SAGINASHVILI. Light up that chat. Let's see. Breaking news. Sap the broke bee stake in Devon now. I think he will not be going over to the Devon LARRATT camp. Here we go. Oh, a little bit spicy from Jujimugu. He's put, Neil, how do you feel about Boeing trying to get your commentary spot for King of the Table? He's talking to Larry. There's nothing I can do about that whatsoever, mate. If Ryan is trying to do that, that's on Ryan. There's nothing I can do about that at all. Ryan's going to look after Ryan and do what he can for Ryan. Fair play to the lad. That will not be my decision. We'll see what happens. Sap the Bees financial advisor in the super chat. Sap, you haven't returned any of my phone calls. Did you get my 5K from the loan shark? That transaction currently is not available. Maybe trade in the car. Oh, what's going on? Mizel Jador with one for you guys. Here we go. RVJ versus Engin at 95 kilos. Kilos? It's like a kilo. Kilos. Who you got? 3 out of 5 in WF rules.
Rob.
You go, Rob. Who you got?
Rob is not the fastest one, and we know Engin is. If it would be like 6 rounds stacked, I would say RVJ. But if it's like best of 5 or best of, I don't know.
It's quite an interesting match.
Yeah.
It's quite a good match. That it is a good match. I like that match.
Engin hits to the side so strong and so fast.
And Rob's got an amazingly good hand.
Yeah, but I don't think he would be thinking about containing his. He would just hit through his pronator.
Yeah, you're thinking he just hits him with so much momentum to the pad. Interesting match. I'll quite like that match.
Let's make that happen.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You know, we could do an arm wars match. Let's go. Kevin and Looms. Ray, who would you like to pull next? Latvian power.
I already have, I'm pulling armor, so I will try to survive that.
It is coming very, very soon.
Full training. I got back from Worlds, took a few days off, tired mentally, tired physically, and now I'm full-blown training camp. I did 3 training sessions on table this week, totaling 8 hours. So I feel very good. Very good. Yeah.
He's coming in strong for the Iron House.
Yeah.
And you probably have to cut some weight though after Christmas, mate.
I told you, what is the weight limit?
90 kilos officially. Well, I think most of the guys weigh 85. And if you're like 87 now, you're probably going a little bit.
I'm not. I cannot get bigger. It's impossible for me to get bigger. I'm not on sauce. So
no, I know.
So
no, I know. I to be honest, mate, with your, I think there's an optimum, and with your frame, I think your optimum is around that 85 kilo mark anyway.
85, 90, yeah.
Yeah, because you can get to
I'm super tall.
Yeah, massive. If one of Ray's cats gets stuck in a tree, he can get it out because he is so tall.
Yeah,
he's right there. But
dwarves called me Hobbit. So
yeah, it's not fair. It's cruel that. I'm actually taller when I'm laid down, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll get actually taller by probably about an inch over Christmas period. Just before anybody sends in any more super chats, please do not do that because we're going to be jumping off here very, very soon. Got to let Ray actually get some sleep to keep him as beautiful as we love him on the fix. Uncle John's okay because it's still only about 5 in the afternoon probably over there. What time is it now, mate?
7:15.
Okay, 7:15, but he ain't going to bed just yet.
I gotta do more Latvian training after this.
Yeah, get in there and get. How is the training going for Iron House, brother?
So good. So good.
You're feeling good after the surgery now? You're back to full.
Yeah. I'm already past where I was at the last
Really?
Arm Wars. I'm like
That's
91, 92 kg right now in the morning. So the weight is right on. We'll be good for that. There will be a very different looking Uncle John. Like I'll be significantly in significantly better shape, arm wrestling shape and just physical shape for
Good for you, mate. Because I know you were concerned about that, joking aside.
Yeah, well, I didn't think the 4 weeks after the surgery was pretty awful. But then as soon as the doctor gave me the go ahead to start ripping, like the last 4, I've been back in the gym for 4 weeks and it's been nothing but just explosion after explosion, just better every single time, every day. Yeah,
and now you're on the Latvian routine, the Latvian regime.
Indeed,
it can only get better. And we'll be ramping up the activity around the Iron House. But remember, it's going to be a little bit different because we're behind closed doors for Arm Wars Iron House. We're not going to be doing any lives, anything like that. We'll be making films of that we'll put out there. But you will not be bored, ladies and gents, because January and February are going to be stacked with entertainment, plus with a lot of other stuff coming. But before we do jump off here tonight, just remember, ladies and gents, if you are not subscribed to the new Arm Wars channel, please do get yourself over there. Like, share, and subscribe. We officially launched Christmas Eve UK. So let me think. That will be, I think it's only Australia that's going to be Christmas Day. But then every Friday, we'll be putting something out. So New Year's Eve, then the 7th of January, 14th of January, and so on and so on. There will be a new film going out there. If you want to see Uncle John and David Bradford, if you want to see Uncle John and Jason Hill, they're going to be on there. If you want to see Rolly Ray in various matches, one of which against Craig Sanders was an absolute banger. Tremendous battle. And he had a better shirt on than that. Get subbed. Get over there. Like, share, and subscribe, mother fluffers. We're going to be starting with Alex Kadecha, Ryan Espy on Christmas Eve. You'll get to see the film. You'll get to hear from the men themselves as they go through the event. Should be fun. Anything else we missed to cover tonight in Fix 86, ladies and gents? I don't think so.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we probably wrapped it. We're probably on here for about an hour and 45 minutes, something like that. It's been quite a long one. Guys, I just want to say thank you very, very much to everybody who's taken the time to check us out, to tune in tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please do support our co-hosts on the channel. If you want to get over and sub to these lads, they would very much appreciate it. Both these guys have got Patreon as well. Please go over and throw something at them so they can keep doing what they do. It's great to help these guys in the sport. Get over to Uncle John's Arm Wrestling channel. Get over to Voice of Arm Wrestling. Whoa, Jujamugu, trolling aside, love all the promoting in the sport. Thanks, mate. Melvin Fish Trousers. Is it possible that LEVAN is so strong that he pins Devon's King's move? Yes, that is possible. And the conversation on that will go on. Who knows what will happen, but it's going to be bloody exciting finding out. Ladies and gents, thank you for taking the time. And as I say, if this is your first visit to Supernatural Strength, please do like, share, give us a sub, ladies and gents. And until we see you next time, take it easy, peeps.